village bus operators in Seoul have urged local governments to cover losses from transfer discounts and warned of pulling out if demands are unmet. The conflict, however, extends beyond small buses. It underscores a systemic challenge confronting the entire structure of urban public transportation in Seoul: the convenience of the transfer system and the burden of public interest. The biggest reason that village buses are struggling is the transfer system. The integrated fare system introduced in 2004 allows passengers to transfer between subways and buses by paying only a small additional fee after the initial payment. The system made travel more convenient for citizens, but bus and subway operators witnessed revenue declines. Local governments or governmental transportation corporations cover the fare discounts for transfers in the current system. However, the annual revenue loss from transfers has grown significantly, making it increasingly difficult for local governments to cover the costs. Village buses in particular have a high proportion of transfer passengers. Operators lose more revenue with higher transfer use, but raising fares is difficult. At the same time, transport expenses increase every year, while compensation funds rise at a slower rate. This gap presents another challenge for bus services already under financial strain. Public transportation isn't just a means of travel, but a public commodity shared by everyone. If bus companies focus solely on profit, routes in unprofitable areas could disappear, which is why public transportation became a public service. In the 1970s and 1980s, the government established a system in which it set fares and subsidized private companies for their losses, ensuring that buses could continue to operate. The dilemma of efficiency and public interest. The struggle between public good and company profit remains unresolved. To reduce losses, operators often cut costs, which harms drivers' conditions and limits rest. On less profitable routes, buses run less frequently, leaving passengers waiting longer. That drives ridership down, creating a cycle that worsens finances. The pattern shows how efforts to make services efficient can end up reducing access, leaving both workers and passengers caught in the middle of the dispute. Conversely, focusing solely on profitability can also cause issues. Unprofitable routes in rural areas or on the outskirts may disappear. Without buses, essential mobility is hindered, resulting in unfair situations where leading even a basic daily life becomes difficult. Therefore, the recent situation highlights the need for discussion on the criteria and size of subsidies for private companies responsible for public services. Since public service obligations cannot be forced on private companies without guaranteeing economic viability, the government's role becomes even more crucial in resolving the matter.